Sentire media.
There are certain conversations and things that people say to you that you remember for a long time, sometimes all of your life. I remember a conversation I had when I went back to America on holiday after living there for 5 years. I remember somebody saying to me, "Hey, you're from Italy. You got that whole mafia thing going on. That's cool." I had been back in Italy for a year, but I had never heard the word cool applied to the mafia. In the last few weeks, a video game advert has been appearing on my Twitter feed or Facebook feed, I think. It's Mafia Wars or Mafia City or something like that. You start off as a simple soldier and then you can rise up to become boss. I'm not sure how you do that because I didn't download the game, but I have a suspicion that you don't do it by doing good deeds and being nice to people. Even when the mafia is portrayed as it really is, a bunch of scumbags, for example in the Sopranos series, which I've always appreciated, people don't always get the message. I remember an interview with the actor who plays Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini, being quite surprised at people coming up to him and telling him how they'd like to be like Tony Soprano. I've understood that there is something very wrong about the way the mafia is portrayed, at least on an international level. Basically, it's portrayed exactly how the mafia itself would want to be portrayed. Men of honor stepping in to defend the citizens when the state falls short, and making a living any way they can, forced to do what has to be done. This is perhaps one of the mafia's greatest successes and greatest lies. They managed to bind people to the organization by offering favors that in reality are the rights that the citizens should have anyway, totally free and without obligation. Therefore, although among the various plans I have for the post-A History of Italy period, there is a history of the mafia, I think it's high time to look at some of the people who dedicated their lives to opposing the criminal organizations known in Italian sometimes in the plural, le mafie. This is because in Italy in particular we have different territorial realities. The more traditional Cosa Nostra, the mafia of Western Sicily, which was the one that we also exported to the United States. This idea of the organization seeping throughout Italy and in the world is well depicted by one of the names in Italian used to describe the organization, La Piovra, the octopus. But there is also the Stidda, an organization in eastern Sicily, the Ndrangheta, the Calabrian mafia, the Sacra Corona Unita, the mafia from the Puglia area, and recently the more powerful organization, the Campanian Camorra, particularly strong in the city of Naples. The Camorra could be considered a more stupid and sloppy mafia, whose victims include many killed by mistake, as well as, for example, Teresa Buonocuore, a woman killed for reporting a boss for being a paedophile. So, disgusting as well as despicable. This series will talk about the mafia, but most of all, about the brave men and women who stood up to them and paid with their lives. If there is still any doubt about the point of view that this series will take on these criminal organizations, let me leave you with a quote from anti-mafia journalist Peppino Impastato, who was killed for denouncing his local clan in local print and on his independent radio. Forgive the language, but it is a direct quote. La mafia è una montagna di merda. The mafia is a mountain of shit.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.